It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome to your feel-good breakfast show. We are here live talking about a very, very important topic this morning. Now, in the spirit of 16 days of activism, we turn our attention to the recent spike of bullying at schools, where the act is not only filmed, but then it's uploaded to social media. Now, you might ask yourself, how do I know that my child would be safe and protected at school? And would he or she tell me if they've been emotionally or physically abused? This morning, we're joined by WeCan24 Ambassadors Renaldo as well as Gerald to talk more about this. Gentlemen, morning, welcome to our show. It's so good to have you here. Very important topic. We've seen a rise in this. Before we do that, let's just say morning. Renaldo.
Hey.
Gerald, how are you? I feel like we're so serious. We are. But it is a serious topic, right? I just watched the recent one at a high school in Stellenbosch, which left me shocked, blown away. Why is this increasing in our schools? Why are young people increasingly becoming violent and sharing it on social media as though it was entertainment?
You know, I actually spoke to Gerald about this the weekend. When I saw the video, I watched about 15 seconds and I stopped because...
Blows your mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
That this is happening in our schools is absolutely shocking. It's disgusting. And it actually took me back to when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, I didn't experience violence like this, but bullying, it's been a problem that's been there for a while. I think the power of social media really comes into play, and what kids are doing, being bystanders and sort of recording the whole situation, doing nothing. So I think it's a whole conversation that opens up with regards to social media and how it should be used and how it should not be used.
Yeah, this is very close to my heart because I was bullied at school.
Yeah, same here.
And it's really difficult because you don't know who you can talk to, you don't want to seem uncool. But the person taking the video, that might seem like you're not involved. Are you not a part of the bullying as well? Are you not a bully too?
Absolutely. I think you are definitely part of the problem. I struggled watching that video, the Stellenbosch one. And the thing that frustrated me very much about that video was the fact that I'm watching and I'm hoping that somebody would step out of that crowd to support this girl. Because, I mean, the violence that she endured, it shattered my heart. It took me back to a time where I was bullied. Perhaps not to that physical extent, but the emotions that I went through, those things all came up, and it just, it crushed me so much. Yeah. And it frustrated me that nobody stepped up to that.
Exactly.
So, I don't know, it's a tough thing. It's been around a very long time, but like Renaldo said, I think the power of social media has just brought it to the fore. But I think the one good thing that came out of the video is the fact that there is a video.
Yes.
And by that, saying that, I don't endorse what the bystanders did, but at least the fact that there's a video, we can now talk about it and engage with the issue.
Let's maybe focus on parents who are wondering, is my child going through? What are the signs that you need to look for as a parent to find out, is your child being bullied, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically? Because sometimes we don't want to say it out loud, you know, so what should we be looking out for?
Like you mentioned, there are different forms of bullying. I think one thing that's rife among the youth of South Africa is social media bullying. So I think as parents and as teachers even, you have to sort of know your kids and have a conversation. And I think it's really important to create a safe space for them to say, hey, mama, ek word geboelie, or hey, something is happening at school. Because if you sort of nip the bud once it starts, I think it's very easy a process to remediate and sort of get a solution. But it's not an easy conversation. You need to look at things if their behavior is changing, especially if they're getting disattached to group activities, if their marks are dropping. The list is sort of endless, but it's really a fact of creating a space where it's fine to talk about anything. And it's not an easy topic to talk about.
Yes.
Gerald, very quickly, how does one eradicate this issue of bullying? Because it just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse.
I think we have to look at the school context. I think schools need to start looking at both academics but also at life skills. So we've got to find that balance between the two. In other words, we've got to look at how do we bring values back into our education. We've got to talk about values: love, respect, peace, justice, righteousness, respect for your fellow human being. We've got to look at those things. How do we bring that back into the education system? So finding that balance, and I think also in the school context, we can't just look at a one day in the year or 1 week in the year. It's got to become part of the life of the school so that learners understand that this is normal. We have to speak up against these kinds of social nonsense that's going on in our country. I think that's a good start. I think also parents need to become a lot more involved in their kids' lives. And I think the benefit that parents have today, compared to my parents, perhaps yours, is the fact that there's so much resources out there and so much help for them. So they need to seek those kinds of help to educate themselves and to be aware.
Absolutely. Well, this is such a loaded topic. We can talk about this for hours. We certainly do need to continue this conversation because it's one that we need to continue to shed a light on because, you know, the minute you stop talking about this, that's when it just continues. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us, and hopefully we'll get you on again soon to continue this conversation. We need to stand together, young and old, to emphasize that there is no place for bullying in today's society, while demonstrating vocal support for the voiceless and the marginalized. So we want to say thank you to WeCan24 for the work that they are doing to create the awareness that we need around this very, very important topic. Well, it is for us to talk about another important topic, and that's managing debt over the festive season.